So before we get started talking about the songs in the album, just overall, how do you feel like the process went?
I think it went really good. I'm excited about all the songs and for them to be out. And the process was easy and fun. So
Yeah, it was. All right, so let's get started with the first one on the list. I believe that's What Ifs.
that's What Ifs, yeah.
So how'd you go about writing that one?
So What Ifs was like one of the first full songs I wrote. I had been to a couple open mics because I'd never played before. I was just going to listen because I wanted to get more into the music scene. And I was thinking, I don't really have enough songs memorized to go play an open mic, so I should just write one. So one Saturday evening, I was in my room just thinking about different concepts and topics, and that's how I wrote the song What Ifs. I pretty much wrote it in a day. It's just a song about how we always ask ourselves the question, what if? And it's like a very anxiety inducing question. Like,
Hmm.
what if this happens? What if this happens? When in reality, you can flip that question where,
Exactly.
yes, bad things can happen, but what if good things happen? What
Hmm.
if the thought of you don't know what's happening next is what keeps you going?
And the whole, you're
And
never gonna know if you don't try.
right. And it's just about like the endless possibilities of life. You can see them in a good way and in a bad way, and you can't stop bad things from happening. So you may as well just look for the positives. That's kind of what that song is about.
Exactly. And that first line in the chorus, what if you dare to take a chance? That's kind of what it goes back to. Again, like you can change that what ifs from a negative into a positive just depending on what perspective you look at it from.
Right. And it's also not just perspective, but actually taking action and
Exactly.
taking those chances. So
Hmm.
it kind of encourages you to like go out and do something and live life rather than just like surviving and waiting for the next bad thing to happen.
Yeah.
So that's definitely why I wanted that to be the first song on the album, is just because that was like the first song I wrote and the very first song I played at an open mic, like in front of people. So that song just has like special memory tied to it. Like very first time I played the open mic out of Mad Life, I'm like, we're starting on What Ifs, and I didn't memorize it. I just had a paper in front of me. I'm like, let's do this. So that's kind of why I want what this album means to me to start off on that song, because that's kind of where I started.
And what I
So
liked about this one from a production standpoint, this was very bare bones,
mm-hmm,
meaning this was just you and your ukulele, very authentic, very raw.
mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much where you wanted the whole album to go, in
Yeah,
that more direction of, oh, hey, this is just me. This is who I am. I'm not trying to create like big productions with all these instruments. This is just me and my instrument, and I'm just basically telling y'all stories.
mm-hmm. I mean, I do like the bass amp plugin on that one
That
because I
was,
had that idea just to, like
yeah,
switch it up to make it a little different than the rest of the songs. But that song is still pretty basic, because I want people really just listening to the words, and the uke gives like a bright, hopeful sound to
exactly.
the song as well. So
And one thing, going back to your wanting them to sound different, because they're all basically have ukulele in them. So one thing that I was trying to do, and we ended up coming to a good compromise about this, was have some of the songs have there be different leading instruments, have there be different elements involved.
mm-hmm.
So in the majority of them, like what we're going to talk about later, they are just ukulele based, ukulele and you. Occasionally I'll throw in a harmony in some of them, and then eventually there's like piano in some of these. There's actually piano in the next two that we're going to be talking about.
This was one of the more bare bones projects on the album. Bare bones meaning simple, not a lot of tracks, not a lot of production concepts to go over here, considering we only have 4 tracks, 5 if you count the master bus. I personally don't count the master bus in my track counts, but if you want to, you can. We're just going to go over what we have really quick. We have the main vocal here. I'm just going to pull up my rack just so we can see all the effects that we have on the main vocal. I'm just going to solo this. So this is just going to be her.
I have all these questions.
Reverb, not a lot of it, but
mind.
there's some
What if the things
reverb
I'm
here.
searching for aren't mine to find? What if I gave my
Auto-tune plugin
everything
on,
but
compressor.
didn't pass the test? But life's a school, there's time to learn and trust God with the rest. What if you dare to take a chance? Shoot a smile, ask
We have a
her
compressor
to dance.
that's
Chase the
just acting
sunset,
as an
not
input
a
gain,
dollar.
just to add the
Get
input gain.
knocked down and
And
stand
then we
up
have
taller.
a
I've lived
reverb
enough to
plugin
know that
on this
bad
as
and
well.
hard are not the same.
And then we have, let's go ahead and add the ukulele.
What ifs could be a roadmap instead of just a cage.
Ukulele with a bass amp
Spent
plug-in
a lot
on
of
it.
time inside. It's safer, so I've heard.
I'm gonna bypass it.
I've taken
Here's what it sounds like
shelter
without.
from the sun. Afraid that would burn. But
Gives it more of an
everything
electric feel.
begins to change when you realize life's a gift. And now I don't have any time to waste one more what if. What if you did?
So if we back up here, here's where the harmonies come in. I have the harmonies stereo, panned, double tracked, panned left and right slightly, just to give the track some width.
I've taken shelter from the sun, afraid that I would burn.
Just gonna
But
solo these here.
everything begins to change when you realize life's a gift. And now what if you dare to take
Harmonies
a
coming in
chance?
here.
Shoot a smile, ask her to dance. Chase a sunset and not a dollar. Get knocked down and stand up taller. I've lived enough to know.
Again, really
that
subtle
and hard
reverb.
are not the same.
Since this is a more intimate song, less going on, you need less reverb to represent the smaller room that this song is most likely being played in. And then we have the master track here, master bus. Down here, good bit of stuff here. Compressor, EQ to add some high end back from the ukulele, from Claire's vocal, from my vocal a little. Then we have a compressor and then a limiter on top of that.
What ifs could be a roadmap.
So if I
Instead of
bypass
just a cage.
all these, this is what it sounded like before it got mastered. And then once the mastering came in, I'm going to add all these effects back.
Take a chance, shoot a smile, ask her to dance, chase the sunset and not a dollar, get knocked down.
Hear how much louder it got.
I've lived enough to
So yeah,
know
that's
that bad and hard are not the same.
that was definitely one of the easier productions, but not a lot going on. But this is one song there didn't need to be a lot going on. That's basically What Ifs. Go stream the album Tropes of Life. Is out on all platforms.